August is going to be an amazing month of Pokemon Go with Pokemon Go Fest Max Finale, as well as a couple of legendaries coming back to the game, which is going to definitely excite a bunch of players. I'm going to be talking about all of this in today's video. Let's get right into it. Alright, what's happening everyone? Jinsula here with a brand new Pokemon Go video. I hope your day is going really well, and let's get right into it. So we gotta talk about everything that's coming to Pokemon Go in the month of August. This is of course the last month of the summer season, and we're going to be getting a bunch of events that are actually really good. But also some legendaries are coming back to Pokemon Go, which I know a lot of players are going to be really excited about, especially because two legendaries in particular, they have not been in the game for a very long time, and there's certainly people out there who would like to get them because of the Master League. So we're gonna talk about all of this. Let's actually get right into the details. This is everything that's going to be happening in the month of August. So the featured Pokemon for the month of August is going to be Gigantamax Butterfree, Necrozma, as well as Dynamax Trubbish. But I would say that there's other Pokemon that are actually going to be worth going after during this month, and we'll get more into that later. Let's first talk about the raid hours. On August 6th, we're going to have a raid hour featuring Lugia, and then on August 13, we're going to have a raid hour featuring Ho-Oh, and then on August 27th, we're going to have a raid hour featuring Necrozma. Their shiny forms are going to be available, but I do not know if their signature moves are also going to be available. But regardless of that, if you want to get these Pokemon, make sure you take note of these raid hours, because raid hours are a great way for you to farm up candies and possibly get yourself a 100% IV. Now, spawning in 5-star Shadow Legendary raids on the weekends during the month of August, it's going to be Shadow Regirock. That's very predictable because for the last 2 months, we had Shadow Registeel as well as Shadow Regice. So naturally, we would move on to Shadow Regirock, and that's going to be the Pokemon for this month. Next, let's talk about this month's Spotlight Hours. So on August 5th, we're going to have a Spotlight Hour featuring Swirlix, and it's going to be with a 2x Catch Stardust bonus. That's pretty big because 2x Catch Stardust bonus Spotlight Hours are usually the ones that people will want to go all out on, and that's because getting yourself a whole bunch of Stardust within that hour is definitely possible, so definitely take note of that. Now, on August 12th, we're going to have a combo Spotlight Hour, and it's going to be featuring both the Pokemon Plusle and Minun, and there's going to be a 2x Catch Experience bonus during this Spotlight Hour. And then on August 19th, we're going to have a Spotlight Hour featuring Routes with a 2x Catch Candy bonus. This is a very key one because Routes does evolve into Gardevoir, which is a very powerful Pokemon for raid battles. So I do think this is also going to be one you will want to pay attention to, especially if you do not have yourself a Gardevoir. This Spotlight Hour is going to be with a 2x Catch Candy bonus, so you'll definitely end up getting yourself enough candies to evolve a Routes into Gardevoir during this Spotlight Hour. And then finally, the last Spotlight Hour is going to be featuring Lechonk, and it's going to have a 2x Transfer Candy bonus, which is actually a pretty decent bonus if you have a whole bunch of legendaries in your collection that you want to transfer. Definitely save them up for this final Spotlight Hour. Now, let's go over all of the different events that they announced for this month. So, on August 2nd, we're going to have a Fossil Research Day, and then on August 3rd, which is the day right after, we're going to have a Gigantamax Butterfree Max Battle Day. And then from August 3rd until August 6th, we're going to have the Sweet Swarm event, and then from August 6th until August 12th, we're going to have the Cozy Companions event. And then during that time, on August 9th, we're going to have a Hatch Day with a Pokemon that they did not announce yet, and there's also going to be some sort of event on August 10th. Be on the lookout for that. Between August 11th and August 17th, we're going to have the Delightful Days Taken Over event, but also on August 15 until August 17, we're going to have the 2025 Pokemon World Championships Go Battle Weekend. It's going to be a great weekend for you to get some points for your season rewards, so do take note of that, especially if you're someone who likes to battle. And then on August 16 until August 17, we're actually going to have a Shadow Raid weekend. I'm assuming they're going to feature a new Shadow Legendary Raid boss that you will want to get, and I'm really curious to see what that's going to be. And then from August 16 until the 23rd, we're going to have the Dark Skies event. And then from August 23rd until the 24th, that is of course going to be the weekend where we're going to have the Max Finale event for Pokemon Go Fest. That's going to be a key event where you're going to be able to pick up the legendary Pokemon Eternatus, and it seems to be an event that's geared specifically towards Dynamax battles. So make sure you get a whole bunch of your Dynamax Pokemon ready. That is definitely going to be a really solid event. And then finally, from August 25th until the 31st, we're going to have the Sun-Kissed Shores event, and there's also going to be a Community Day on August 30th, and then a Mega Raid Day on August 31st, possibly featuring a brand new Mega Evolution, which I'm excited to see what it could potentially be. And then finally, let's talk about the Dynamax Pokemon that are going to be appearing in Max Battles throughout the month. Omanite is going to be in Max Battles from August 4th until August 10th. Trubbish is going to be from August 11th until the 17th. Chansey is going to be from the 25th until the 31st. And then Pidove is going to be at the end of the month, or I should say at the beginning of the next month, from September 1st until the 7th. And then we mentioned these Pokemon earlier when we were talking about the raid hours, but in 5-star legendary raids, we're going to have Lugia from August 4th until August 11th, and then we're going to have Ho-Oh from August 11th until the 18th, and then we're going to have Necrozma from the 25th until the end of the month. And then for Mega Evolution raids, we're going to have Mega Ampharos from the 4th until the 11th. Mega Slowbro will be in Mega Evolution raids from the 11th until the 18th. And then Mega Pidgeot is going to be from the 18th until the 25th. And then afterwards, we're going to have Mega Salamence, which is actually a really powerful Pokemon, from the 25th until the end of the month. So overall, really exciting stuff. I think the Pokemon that are coming to Pokemon Go within this month are really good. We of course have Eternatus with the Max Finale event, but in particular, let me talk about both Lugia and Ho-Oh. Both of these Pokemon are really good Pokemon. They're really good for both the Master League as well as raid battles, and there's a lot of players out there who would like to get themselves a 100% IV of either of these Pokemon, and possibly a Shundo. Fortunately, they're going to be making their way back to raids, and I think a lot of players out there are gonna want to raid both of these Pokemon because they're incredibly useful. They're extremely tanky, but they also deal a lot of damage. They are seemingly tailor-made for PvP, so for people who are avid battlers, they're definitely going to want to get their hands on 100% IVs of these Pokemon. Sure, they've kind of fallen off a little bit because of the introduction of the fusion forms of Necrozma as well as Kyurem, and then of course Crown Shield Zacian and Zamazenta are just creating a huge tear. But I still think they are incredibly useful. So I definitely think you need to raid for them, especially if you care about PvP. But on the other hand, they're also really solid for raid battles. I've certainly used Ho-Oh in the past with Sacred Fire. I don't think you'll be able to get Sacred Fire this time around. You might need to use an Elite Charge TM, but I do think it's worth it. If you get yourself a 100% IV or possibly even a Shundo if you're incredibly lucky, then yeah, you should use an Elite Charge TM to get Sacred Fire because that is a very powerful move that makes Ho-Oh a really solid raid attacker, especially when it comes to fire type damage. And then Lugia may not necessarily be a top tier psychic type raid attacker, but it can be a really good Pokemon when it comes to flying type damage. So there's a lot of versatility with that Pokemon, and if you do not have a whole bunch of Pokemon in your collection for raids, then both of these Pokemon are definitely going to be high performers. So yeah, August is looking pretty solid. I do think it's going to be a really good time, and yeah, we cannot discount the Max Finale event for Pokemon Go Fest. Eternatus is going to be a powerful Pokemon, and in most cases, it might be a must-get Pokemon, so there's definitely a lot of things to look forward to. But in any case, that's going to be it for this video. Definitely share your thoughts regarding the month of August down below in the comments. What is something in particular that you are looking forward to? Definitely share what that is, and let's have a great discussion. Thank you so much for making it all the way to the end of this video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if it's your first time here, and don't forget that notification bell so you can stay up to date on whenever I upload videos. Real quick, let me give a shout out to all all of my patrons on Patreon. You make this channel content possible. If you want to support the Jinsula channel, the best way you can do that is going to be by joining my Patreon. And if you become a paid Patreon member, I'm going to add you to my Pokemon Go friends list. That means for stuff like remote raids, the friendship system, opening and sending gifts. If you want to play Pokemon Go with me, then make sure you go and check out my Patreon. I'll put a link to it in the description below. And if you want to support my channel in a completely different way, you can do so by following me on social media. It's completely free. All you have to do is go to the platforms you see on the bottom of your screen, look for @CountJinsula. That's going to be me. Make sure you give me a follow and you'll have exclusive access to some content, as well as you'll be able to keep up with my daily life. And yeah, that's going to be it for this video. I'm Jinsula. Be safe, have fun, love yourself today, and I'll catch you in the next one.